Alright, so today we will be listening to the third string quartet of Romero's. This one was also completed in 1999. And this time we do have front matter for this score. So um, there are your typical quarter tone accidentals, quarter tone sharp, three quarter tone flat. I think it's more common to see just uh, backwards flat, and then three quarter tone flat, and then there's indication for tones that are less than a quarter tone raised or lowered, and it looks like we have like half pressed stuff, so like between harmonics and actual ordinary playing, and we have a three-line staff for overpressure distortion. So this is interesting. I'm curious to see what the first system of music looks like. I really like how all this is laid out too. Um, nothing too nothing too weird here. Rotating the bow is an interesting idea. I'm curious how that'll sound. I don't think I've seen this notation in any score before. And then circular bowing is its own notation. Okay. Um, and all sounds should be non-vibrato unless otherwise indicated. Cool. So this also looks like it starts with some long tones. I'm gonna quickly scroll through, and I'll get back to you with the lay of the land. I don't wanna just show the whole score because it is copyrighted. Okay, so from what I can tell, this is gonna be a single movement piece, and it's gonna slowly build to a very busy climax, but it's just gonna start slow. So similar to the other two string quartets of Romero's that we looked at, he's very preoccupied with sort of extremes of duration and how to play with them, which is an interest of mine as well. So it's really fascinating to see this preoccupation with these three pieces, because I'm thinking it's going to be completely different in this one as opposed to the other two. I'll get back to you with my thoughts on this in a bit. Alright, so this was a 15-minute piece I neglected to mention. And this isn't the best picture of this series, but this is a picture that I would like to use to represent this quartet listening experience. And if you don't know, Romero is a photographer as well as a composer. He has a series of photographs of benches, and the series is called The Incomprehensible and Condensed Time. And actually, the title of the series struck me more than any particular image in it, but because I think this piece has a lot to do with time, and it's 15 minutes long, but the first 10 minutes are just long tones, with silences in between, and it feels a lot more tense, and it appears a lot more tense on the score than the second string quartet did. Like, all of these long tones are entering on offbeats, and they're very tense chords. I don't know how else to describe it. There's like quarter tones in them and stuff. And then there's 2 minutes of music, which is just goes through several different like extended technique ideas, and then he ends the piece on this overpressure distortion noise idea, which he interestingly enough uses to introduce that whole 2 minute section of craziness. So I think there is something sort of poetic about how things are laid out, and maybe something metaphorical. Maybe the first 10 minutes of this piece represent something, and the next 2 minutes and the ending represent other things that are somehow related. Yeah, I think it's a very thought-provoking piece. I don't know if I like it better than the other string quartets. I'm also not in the best mood for music listening today, but definitely a very bold piece. Like, could be very cool on a concert. Definitely would take a lot of rehearsal to get it together, like, because it's so yeah, it seems so difficult to play, especially those, you'd spend all your time trying to figure out those 2 minutes of music. And yeah, I think it's, out of the three quartets, it's the most dramatic, and I think it could fall apart the most easily. Like, you'd have to really bring a lot of intensity and drama to the performance to pull it off. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, if you want to listen to this one, it's on the composer's YouTube channel, and this time it's actually a score video. And this is a very good performance. It's by the Arditi Quartet. And yeah, the whole time I was thinking, like, man, this would be really hard to pull off. But they managed to do it really well. So, yeah, I think that concludes our exploration of this composer's string quartets. Let me see if I have any more of his. No, I think that's it. So, yeah, over the next couple days we're going to move further back in time, not much farther back, but we're going to get to know a bit more of Mario Levista's string quartets. And then after that, we will finally leave the Mexican composer roster and get into some Lockenman. And yeah, so that's that. Pretty easy listen, I would say. Although I wasn't quite in the mood for it today. But yeah, cool piece. I would love to see all three of these quartets as a program, like a 40-minute string quartet program. I think that would be amazing to see. And yeah, I can't believe that I wouldn't have known about this composer other than chance. Like, so if you are a music teacher and you have the opportunity to share these works with students, I really encourage you to, because all three of Romero's quartets do really interesting things with time. Like, any student who is interested in sort of the extremes of what you can do with durations and form, I think would benefit from having a look at these. So yeah, that is that. So thus concludes Romero's third string quartet listening log.